New on Curiosity Stream.
Just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean you can't.
Watch Earth's greatest minds forge our path to a better tomorrow. It's engineering the future. And Jaws, Star Wars, The Godfather, E.T. The biggest movies have even bigger music. From King Kong to The Dark Knight. See how musicians scored Hollywood's greatest hits on great film composers' music of the movies. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
What's up? It's your boy, The Fed Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Your memory from KISW 206-421 Rock.
Hello, Mary. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Greetings, gentlemen.
How you doing, Mary?
I'm doing great, and I must say how awesome it was to hear Mike West, because my very first memories go back to Crow and West, and I love Gary Crow.
Uh-oh.
And no.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
He's been married several times. I follow my favorite jocks, my rock jocks. Honestly, I followed all of them to the X, but we'll go back to KSW. In early 79 or late 79, Gary and Mike were on the radio in the morning. And then, like, spring or summer of 80, right when Mount St. Helens blew her top, they went to the afternoon. And I won my second radio game.
What was the game called?
It was called The Big Money Movie.
Oh, The Big Money Movie.
Do you remember that?
Hell
there
no.
was Leave It to Beaver 1980
No, Mary,
back in the morning.
Mary, I can't even believe you remember any of those, to be honest with you.
Oh, my God, yeah. I might be 58, but I remember.
You could be 59.
I'm 58, dear.
I can't believe how much you can remember, Mary.
Oh, well, thank you.
No, we love you.
Well, what did you win? What did you win?
Anyway, to get to the point, it was called The Big Money Movie.
Uh-huh.
And every day, me and my girlfriend sit around the
What did you win, Mary? Mary, what did you win?
What did I won a trip to the radio station.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I did.
We don't do that anymore.
It was called...
We lose Mary?
We can't do that.
Oh, no.
We would, but the incident.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things.
Yeah, we did have an incident, and we would legally we're not allowed to have any guests.
That is correct.
So we could never meet Mary in person.
That's a shame. I'm surprised, too, she can remember that.
I'm surprised Mary remembers anything past noon today.
That was great.
Our question, what is your memory from KISW? Look, I think we need to beam our satellite somewhere. One of the first interviews, bands that ever came in and joined us, that would be the young kids in Shinedown at that point in time.
Yes, the young kids.
They were just a bunch of youngsters, and I believe if we do have Brent Smith. Brent, are you there? How you been, man?
I'm good, man. I'm counting down the 48 hours to Valentine's Day.
Oh, the guy I know is excited. It's my favorite holiday.
Isn't that sweet? I'm sure that
Trying to spread the love, man.
That's right. And I'm sure you have a lot of opportunities. After the past year with COVID, maybe things will turn around this year. You never know.
Well, I mean, the interesting thing about last year and moving into this year is it was interesting for us in Shinedown because we were already in the midst of creating Shinedown number 7. Me and Eric had been working all of last year on top of what me and Zach were doing with Smith & Myers, releasing, 2 volumes and what have you. We all kind of got into the same opinion of we wanted to do Shinedown number 7 in a certain kind of a studio. So when we were looking around for exactly what we were going to do, we just kind of basically had to come to the realization that there weren't any studios that could do what we wanted, so we just decided to build one. So now we've been in our studio, and so far everything's going really good.
That's great. We've been as far as our show on the station, we've been here for 15 years, and the first band that really came in that we got to know and interview and sit down and talk to was Shinedown when they first came out on the road, first got to Seattle. And you were really our first big band that we got a chance to sit down and talk to. And it's been 15 years. Time does fly. But it's, how many more times have we hung out? Probably 4 or 5?
I would say much more than that. I mean, we always try to make sure, the band has been around, for, it's crazy to say this, but 2 decades now. And I have some of the most, some of my most fondest memories of the last 2 decades is with you guys. The West Coast has always been a very unique place for us, in regards to the hardcore fan base has been there from day one, and it's grown, quite exponentially over the last couple of years. But of all of the stations in the West Coast, I would put you at number 1. You always welcomed us with open arms. You've always allowed us to be ourselves. 6 albums. We're working on Shinedown number 7 right now. But you've always played the music. You've always supported the band, and that never goes unnoticed, man. We're very, very appreciative of that. And from the West Coast side of things, we got nothing but love for you. Your family to us.
We appreciate that, man. And same here, man. Without question. Tons of great shows. Ted, how many Shinedown shows have you been to?
I mean, honestly, it's got to be like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say Shinedown and probably Avenge are the 2 bands I've seen the most since I've started working at KISW.
Yeah, I got to put Shinedown up there.
Right, because we've had
you guys keep showing up. So it's like, all right.
They keep playing our shows.
Brent, any special memories of either playing in shows or being on the air with us here in Seattle?
I've got to say, like, every single time that we've been able to come to the studio, it has always been, the only word that I can come up with is an adventure. No, it's an adventure, man, in all the good ways. In all of the good ways. But from, like, the early days, with the first record, Leave a Whisper, to, taking shots for the first time, like live on the air, to like
I don't know what you're talking
all
about.
Kinds of crazy. Yeah, exactly. I have no idea what I'm talking about either. Learning all kinds of crazy sports facts. With you all, it's always an adventure with you guys. I couldn't pick just one time.
Well, I do remember one instance where you guys just got off the plane, and the first item up for bids was you're coming to the studio, and then you guys were going to go and do a show that night, and you were in the bathroom. Oh, yeah. And you were talking, and you said, man, I had to listen to the show in the car on the way in because I didn't know what the hell you guys were going to do to me and how you're going to set me up. So I needed to be prepared with this. Basically, you said, don't F with me.
Yeah, I remember that. I was taking a pee, and you came rolling in and said, man, I was listening. You guys seem fired up and weird today, man. Do not set me up. No, it's all good.
And weird.
With that was Falls. That becomes your 27th top 10 single on the mainstream rock chart. What's crazy about that is most people don't know there's only one artist who has more. Tom Petty.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. Tom Petty had 28. You guys were 27. You guys are still working. One of the things that's impressed us about you guys, and we say this all the time. So we've been here for 15 years. You guys have been kicking for 20 years. The amount of success you guys have without it being the cult of personality. It's not because you got stoned and you were found with hookers and it's none of that stuff. It's just the music, and that happens so infrequently. I'm always really impressed by that.
I have to be honest, man. It has a lot to do with the fan base, and why I say that is the fan base, whether they've been there from day one or they're just kind of finding out who we are, they understand that these songs are coming from a very real place. I've always been very upfront as being the main lyricist in the band. Stylistically, our audience has always allowed us to evolve. And, same thing with you guys and girls. As, in the radio community, you've always allowed us to be ourselves as well. And I think the longevity comes from ultimately the honesty and, I'm going to get in trouble with my publicist if I don't say this, so I'm going to say it. We actually did something that I still can't believe we accomplished last year. We do have 27 singles that we have released as Shinedown, but Atlas Falls actually became the 16th number one song last year in the 41-year history of the United States rock chart. Which put us at number one for the most number ones on the chart.
Wow! Yeah. And we take full credit for that.
That's it. We sure do. Just us.
And KISW, on your 50th birthday, you should take actual all credit for that.
Yes, we will.
Just take full credit.
We will absolutely.
Oh, we will for the rest of the year. Count on it.
Besides the fact we wrote all the lyrics and all the music,
all the stuff.
So
we did have some suggestions.
Sure.
Get fired up, get weird. The song for Expendables, there is at the very beginning of it, there's like these quotes where you're saying, I am this, I am that. We thought, he's being awfully dramatic. We thought you should tone it down a bit. Like, I'm the hangnail that gets caught in your sock. Mm-hmm. Something relatable to everybody. See what I'm saying? I'm the dry skin on your elbow that you just can't ignore.
I'm the orange juice that gave you heartburn.
Right, exactly. Just so that everyone completely yeah.
I'm the chicken in your teeth.
Right. Here we go now.
Did you just say I'm the chicken in your teeth?
That is correct.
That is correct, sir.
That what you got to suck on to try to get it out?
Whenever you have writer's block, you know who to call. Brent Smith, everybody from Shinedown. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by, Brent. It's always a pleasure. Hopefully we'll see you soon in person sometime.
Absolutely. I'll show you my brand new tattoos. My it's weird tattoo, and also, I gotta be honest with you, man, the number one spot I think is gonna have to go to I'm the chicken in your teeth. So I can't wait to show you those tattoos when I'm in front of you guys next.
Love you, Brent. Great talking to you again, man.
New on Curiosity Stream, she was a loving wife, a devoted mother. She also stole atomic secrets and gave them to the Soviets. Meet the woman whose deception kick-started the Cold War on the spy who stole the atom bomb. And
what if they catch you?
Then I shall be shot.
They're coming! Come back!
relive history's most death-defying escapes. It's Impossible Escapes, Civil War. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit CuriosityStream.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Hey, all of Macholas, thank you so much for listening to the Men's Room Podcast.
And thanks to our pals at the Advocates Law Firm for being great partners. Yes, even you, creepy Kyle.
Seriously, though, if you'd been injured as a result of somebody else in your car, on your bike, walking across the street, talk to our friends at the Advocates Law Firm and let them help you out.
Yeah, they're the best injury lawyers around, and they want to make sure that you're not taken advantage of. Plus, your first consultation is free.
It's simple. You get injured, the advocates get results. Contact them today at advocateslaw.com.
Let's return to the party. 50 years of KISW is in progress. Presented by Palace Law, 99.9 KISW.
Our 50th anniversary weekend brought to you by Palace Law. Be sure to hit KISW.com. We got brand new merch for our 50th.
We sure as hell do.
We got some cool-ass hats, some T-shirts, a hoodie. Woo! Sure would be nice to have a hoodie, Steve, since you took the only one for the men's room.
It's not that I took the only one. It was the only one. Hey, I got a wife who likes to wear my hoodies.
Right, yeah.
She's ordered one hoodie, and you know what she did? She gave that to me, and now she wears all of mine. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah. All day long, we celebrate 50 years of rock. It's very cool to see everybody putting up their social memories as well. When you do so, please use hashtag KISW50, as in 50. That way we can get a
50.
50. 50.
Good 50.
Hashtag KISW50. Our question, what is your memory from KISW 206-421-ROCK?
Hello, Cheyenne. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
So even though I do live here in South Dakota, I have spent a lot of time in Seattle, and I've actually spent a lot of time with the local rock scene out there from bands like Bruiser Brody and Window Pane. And they're all just phenomenal. And even though I live here, I have to say a piece of my heart will always live in Seattle and with KISW. So much love to all you guys.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Thank you, Bo.
We appreciate that, man. And much love to everybody that we know in South Dakota.
Which is Cheyenne, who called.
Cheyenne.
Right.
That sums it up.
The
Yeah.
other 6 of you that live there.
That is the person that we know.
Exactly.
I will say this for me personally, being in Seattle, all right? As a musician, so Seattle's always been a rock place. And he brought up Window Pane and Bruiser Brody, right? So there's Miggs from the morning show plays in Bruiser Brody, as well as Glenn Cannon, who plays guitar in Bruiser Brody, as well as plays guitar in Window Pane. And meeting cats like Kyle Court from Superfecta. As a musician, it has been so cool that routinely over the last 15 years for me, I get to hop on stage and jam with these guys, man. I mean, these are the guys that are in the bands, and just because my dumb ass is here, come on up, play with us, man. I cannot put into words how awesome it is.
I like watching JT with a fan and the wind blowing through his hair.
He does bring his own fan.
You don't have hair, so you don't.
I just have the beard.
Even for me, I only sing a couple songs, but getting to be in the new originals and do that on famous stages in Seattle.
These are the best local musicians,
and I have
man.
Zero musical talent.
You got to remember, earlier on, we were listening to Aaron Jones talk about the fact that just KISW in general. We had him for Red Festival.
Right.
You know what I mean? He played in a parking lot with a bunch of drunk people for us.
Yeah.
And he showed up on what? The podcast?
Right, I had him on the podcast.
He's Now he's got Budweiser commercials. He's played all over the country and everything else. But back in the day, Aaron played Red Festival and we liked it.
We sparked his career.
That's right. Earlier on, we got a chance to talk to the legendary Mike West. He was a member of Crow and West, Lang and West. The other half of the crew we haven't had a chance to talk to ever. So, ladies and gentlemen, is this really Gary Crow?
Hey, what's cooking, boys?
How you been, Gary?
Been great, and I want to congratulate you guys on your 50 year. I mean, just phenomenal. And
Happy Chinooka.
When we got KISW really up and running back in 77, I think Slayton and I were kind of co-doing music, and we decided that it was pretty lame because we were 17th in the market, so we it was pretty bleak. So we decided to come out of the box firing, and we started playing we were the first to add Van Halen, AC/DC, and the station just really took off. In fact, I think we had about a 10-year run like you guys have at number one, so it was pretty special times.
Do you think it would have been harder to break bands like Van Halen and AC/DC if you were already number one in the market? At 17th, you go, hey, guys, we got nothing to lose. Let's just throw it to the wall.
Absolutely. I think you're right. Absolutely. And one of the best memories I had was when Van Halen, we all became really close friends, and they never forgot that. And on my 30th birthday, I was doing afternoons with Mike West, and they came in during the show and surprised me on my birthday with, let's say, professional women. Yeah, and that was pretty amazing because the receptionist kept saying Van Halen's out here, and I went, yeah, right. And then all of a sudden, David came through the door and said, ha, ha, ha. And that show was total insanity. When we go to a break, it was just mayhem in there, but it was so much fun. And that's the kind of appeal and respect KISW garnered from great rock bands. And that in and of itself was really very special, especially AC/DC, I think, because nobody was playing, the bad boys from down under. So we started, Steve and I, and we just couldn't believe how great they were, and yet nobody was playing them here in the States.
Which is amazing when you think about it now. Since we've been at KISW, all right, there are, that we hear from the fans, are certain things that always come up. One is that Van Halen moment. That has become absolutely notorious.
Right.
Billy Idol showing up, and apparently the F word is indistinguishable from any other word in English language, but also it's always Gary Crow, Mike West, Steve Slayton. I mean, to this day, those things always come up.
Well, Robin and Maynard, too. In fact, Bo Phillips, our program director, I give a lot of credit to. I was just talking to Bo the other day, but we were one of the first, I think maybe the first rock station to have a morning team and an afternoon team. And that was really unheard of. And so we were constantly trying to outdo each other, with bits or whatever. And that made the station really competitive within the station, but it was a real friendly competition, and that helped.
And Gary, just understand, if it weren't for you guys doing that, we wouldn't be able to wake up at 8 o'clock. We wouldn't be on in afternoons. We would get up at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, there's no
and we would be working in Kansas. So, because of you guys, KISW said, you know what, maybe it is a good idea to put on an afternoon show. So
right.
We got to thank you for that, because if not, our life would be living hell.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the compliment, and it was a great team. And like I said, again, the bands, whenever they came to Seattle, we went from 17th to number 1 in one book when we flipped it to KISW, Seattle's Best Rock. And we had a listener design the logo. We had listeners design the logos and little things like that. And when AC/DC came to town, Brian came down to the station, and we had a commemorative T-shirt, and we did a commemorative poster, which we ran through Tower Records, and that to this day is the biggest selling poster. Even beat Farrah Fawcett that Tower Records ever sold. So,
I had that Farrah Fawcett.
That's a big thing to do.
I remember that clip.
Yeah,
that
red bathing suit. Sure.
Yeah, man, man.
Yeah.
Gary, thank you so much, man. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Take care.
Gary Crow. We did Crow and West.
That's right.
Yeah. Beat that, bitches. KISW 50th anniversary. This is just the beginning of an incredible weekend. We're going to celebrate all year long. Don't get us wrong. We have no problem having an excuse for a party. But the celebration on the KISW 50th anniversary, that's all weekend long here on The Rock. So if you missed anything, if you missed any of BJ and
my God, man. Did you guys talk to this person that, BJ Orcastle interviewed certain people earlier. They're all upset. Don't get upset. You will hear this again tomorrow. I'm sure it'll make its way to the podcast or whatever. It'll get posted somewhere. My God.
We still have a bunch coming up. Terrence still has a bunch coming up.
Yeah, hold your horse.
Ryan Kessel had 4 pages of people who were supposed to stop by.
God damn, it was unbelievable.
Checking them off as they go along. So there we go. Gary Crow joining us. All right, our question, what is your memory from KISW? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Wade. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello.
Hola.
So back in 1992, 93, Bob Rivers had Arlene Baxter Playmate of the month of December. And they talked her in having a date with one of their listeners. So we had to send in pictures and a bit of a bio. So I just took a picture of a frog. It says, "Kiss me, I'll turn into your prince." And lo and behold, she picked my picture, and I was so damn excited that I called the wrong radio station saying, "Yeah, that's me," and the other radio station was teasing me. But so I came back to the radio station 2 weeks later and met her, but yeah, no date ever happened.
Oh, yeah. Well, at least you almost had a date with the Playmate Centerfold.
Think about all the other dudes felt like I'm uglier than a frog.
Instead of you two trying to kill one on a golf cart at one point in time.
I was just in the golf cart. Thrill tried to kill him.
I did not try to kill her.
Every time you drive anything, you almost kill people.
Yeah, making this pedal to the metal, bro.
Oh, turns out when we were racing those cars, we were at KSW, that was payback for that golf cart.
Is that what that was?
Just don't know.
I see, okay.
You know me, I love a slow play.
Yeah. Hey, look,
4D chess.
When we got out here, it was just, we could not believe that we were in Seattle, Washington. In our minds, a music capital of the world.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
And as we have these bands come in throughout the years, there are times where we can keep it together for the most part. There are other times where we're like, oh my God, that is Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, it was a weird moment, man.
You know what I mean? Oh my God, that is Rob Halford. This is so weird to be talking to one of those people. And I will never forget the moment that Chris Novoselic walked into the studio. First of all, the guy's about 7'9".
He is tall.
There's one small side note. I was farting viciously that day, okay? But they all stunk. And Robin was working with us. She was very excited to meet him. So Chris Novoselic shows up, and we knew the studio reeked of butt. And he's such a gracious guy. And I remember I looked at him, and I said, hey, man, by the way, when you walk into the studio, it might smell bad. Poor Robin here is having stomach issues. She never corrected me, but the look she gave me, that's like, I'm going to kill you. She was so mad.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of our satellites, I believe somewhere on a farm north of Astoria, Oregon, in the middle of nowhere, probably up by Forks.
I have no idea.
His neighbors are all, werewolves and vampires, from what I understand. But, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Chris Novoselic. Chris, how are you, brother?
I am mighty fine, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Thank you for calling on our 50th birthday. We were hoping if we zoomed in on you like this, we might be able to get to see some of your farm animals, but I guess not.
Oh, I wish I would have brought the horse in the house, but for my speaking code, I don't know.
Are there any animals actually allowed in the home?
A chihuahua.
That's the one I think I'd want to keep outside, based on my personal experience.
We see you're wearing your KISW Rock T-shirt. That's pretty impressive. How old is that shirt?
Oh man, how old does it smell, or how old does it look? Chris, I do you remember the Squire Shop?
Squire Shop.
This was I started to listen to KISW in 1979, and I lived in Aberdeen in this place called Think of Me Hill.
That's the name of the place? So I lived
on a hill. Yeah, it's on the east side of town. Think of me, because in the ye olden days, there was a sign on top of the hill that said, "Think of me cigars," right? Not the ye olden days of 1979, of like 1909 or whatever.
Right.
or not 2009, right? And so it was called Think of Me Hill. And so, but if you were down in Aberdeen proper, it was hard to get reception for KISW. So I lived on this hill, and it came in really clear. So, and the other kids would listen to Top 40 radio, which I wasn't really into. I was into like Judas Priest and rock.
Right.
So then the new rock shirts came out. That day I went to the Squire Shop at the mall at the bottom of the hill, and I bought a rock shirt. And they were like really cheap. They were probably well made, but they were inexpensive. For someone like me, it was good.
They're still really cheap, just based on demand. Chris, so 1979, was that your first memories of KISW?
Yes, because I was perusing the FM dial. I moved up from California, and we would listen to like KMET, these like rock stations with like Zeppelin and rock and roll, right? And then I was just cruising the FM dial, and there was this one station, 99.9, and it came on the air, and I would make mix cassettes.
The good old days.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Where the DJs talked over the beginning of the music.
That was always the most irritating part.
Yeah, I know. It'd be like, hey, no, the intro.
Right, exactly. Like, stop talking.
And then we got in the radio, and they told us, do that. Whatever you do, step on the beginning of a song.
Right.
So we kind of feel bad. What were some of the bands that KISW was playing in 79?
Well, just like Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Heart, there's local music, Heart, Judas Priest, then things like Billy Squier and April Wine.
Oh, wow.
Remember that song by April Wine, If You See K?
Yeah. I remember just between you and me.
You can't find that song. I think they've disavowed that song. If you see K, tell her I want her. If you see K, tell her I need her.
So clever.
That's Canadian. That's Canadian humor right there. That's what that is.
I think it's Canadian humor. Yeah.
What
today's mores? I don't know if it fits today's mores. So.
Do you remember the first time you heard Nirvana on KISW?
I do.
And was that cool for that full circle thing?
Yeah, it was amazing, and I think it was either Scott Vanderpool or Damien. Oh, see, now I screw the interview up.
Don't worry, we had low expectations. You're fine.
You're good.
I was in a rock band. Damon Stewart.
Damon Stewart. Damon, yeah.
Damon Stewart or Scott Vanderpool. You think Vanderpool would be a harder name to remember, but they had like one of those Sunday night like local music, and they played Nirvana off our Bleach record, and we were like, "Whoa, we're on the rock."
Did you know in advance that was going to happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got tipped off,
and it's one of those deals like you called all of your buddies, like turn on your radio, man. They're going to play us.
Yeah, it was one of those things. What was the song?
What was the song?
What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? What was the song? Oh, that's a good thing. I think it was the song Love Buzz.
So it wasn't If You See Kate.
If You See K, K-A-Y.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember one of your first bigger shows that you played in Seattle?
It depends on what you mean, remember. So it's like, a Motorsports Garage, that was a big one. Moore Theater opening for Tad and Mudhoney. And then, we just went through the scene playing like the Vogue and Rock Candy, all those places. We'd play in Tacoma, Olympia. We'd play anywhere, really.
What was the first big venue you guys played in Seattle? Where you went, wow, we are here?
Moore Theater.
Yeah.
Moore Theater, yeah. And Moore Theater has a really great musical history. And then the cool thing about playing the Moore Theater is hanging out in the alley with the other bands.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Smoke out session, those kind of things.
That's what I was going to say. Did you ever come in studio and do interviews back then?
Yeah, absolutely. And it was on Aurora. There was this this just little shack building, and it's like KISW. And you'd walk in. And it was KISW, and you'd walk in, and there'd be all these gold and platinum records on the walls and photographs of hey, there's Van Halen visiting the station. And yeah, it was cool. So
is it a weird thing now? If you were to walk into our station now, there's still gold records up on the wall, but now it's Nirvana.
Yeah, I know. See, that's the thing. Well, one of my sayings in life is, will wonders ever cease? And I still say that today, things that just blow my mind. It's just kind of wow.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty cool, man.
Chris, thanks so much. Thank you for joining us today on our 50-year anniversary. We appreciate it. We appreciate all you've done for music and being a part of the family and the station for so many years.
Happy anniversary, KISW. 50 years. To the next 50. Cheers.
New on Curiosity Stream, she was a loving wife, a devoted mother. She also stole atomic secrets and gave them to the Soviets. Meet the woman whose deception kick-started the Cold War on the spy who stole the atom bomb. And
What if they catch you?
Then I shall be shot.
They're coming! Come back!
relive history's most death-defying escapes. It's Impossible Escapes, Civil War. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit CuriosityStream.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Oh, fiddlesticks! What, Wilbur? We just got hit and I think my back has all been out of shape.
You gotta talk with those whippersnappers at the Advocates Law Firm. They're the best injury lawyers around.
What? Pipe down, Clarence! Abner's telling me about the lawyers and the advocates. So what happened to you, Abner?
I was walking across the street with the light when some young punk came screeching around the corner. I lost a toe.
What? Shut it, Clarence! If you get injured, the advocates get results.
AdvocatesLaw.com.
50 years of KISW continues on The Rock. It's like going back in time. Presented by Palace Law, 99.9 KISW.
Hey, this is Stephen Oberto from Oberto Specialty Meats. From one iconic Seattle institution to another, we want to wish KISW a happy golden 50th anniversary. Here's to 50 more years rocking Seattle and to always being our second favorite hydroplane.
Celebrating 50 years of rock. It's our 50th anniversary weekend brought to you by Palace Law. Check out the KISW logo generator at KISW.com. Go there and write something dirty and entertain yourself. Oberto, man, and we have a good time down at Seafair. Awesome. I'm telling you what, man. Oberto hooked us up. They had like the prime location down on Lake Washington. And we just sat there and they barbecued and we drank their beer and just got absolutely hammered.
They had like
awesome.
They had like touring chefs barbecuing, and Alberto would come in. Like, just, he's on fire.
He's the man.
And he hands out these pens with different colors.
Green, red, blue, black.
He made you feel special. You know what I mean? He was like one of the biggest celebrities ever met.
Was Guy Fieri? Was he at that one?
That was fake Guy Fieri.
Oh, it was fake Guy Fieri. Was that fake Guy Fieri?
Yeah, that guy was from Lakewood or Tacoma. Shout out to that guy. He pulled it off, though.
You
He got
son
it
of a
everywhere.
bitch.
Everybody was taking pictures with him.
Our question, what is your memory from KISW? 206-421-ROCK. Don't forget, if you post anything up on social media, use the hashtag KISW50.
Hello, Dave. Welcome to the men's room.
Uh-oh. Dave?
Dave. Hello, Dave.
Staten. Not Dave.
Oh, Staten. Not Dave.
Yeah, Staten.
Staten, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Good, thanks. Yeah, I was a punk kid graduating from Lewiston High School. Came over to Seattle in 1980, and you guys were on the radio at my dad's shop. So I just listened to you all the time. I ended up going away to chiropractic school down in San Francisco when I moved back. I ended up becoming Spike's chiropractor, and also ended up working on BJ and Miggs as well.
Who has the worst back, BJ, Miggs, or Spike?
BJ by far.
Oh, is that right?
That boy is still hunched over, hanging up into that microphone. Hey, but I wanted to thank you guys because I owe you a career of success. Every time you guys would post a concert on the radio, I would show up with my table backstage and I'd be like, hey, does anybody need a chiropractor back here? And of course I got tons of no's, but I started getting yes. I ended up becoming the chiropractor to Korn, Def Leppard, Journey, Warner, Queensryche. I ended up adjusting over 600 famous bands because of you guys and playing all their music that I just love to hear.
That is awesome.
Wow, dude.
That is awesome.
Were you at Pain in the Grass last year?
I was at Pain in the Grass.
Yeah, man.
I adjusted you guys too, man.
Yeah, you cracked me, bro.
Thank you.
I remember that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, man. At that Pain in the Grass, there was something wrong with my shoulder. Like, I could not lift my arm. I have no idea what it was. That dude was back there. I was like, hook me up. When he was done, dude, that's great.
We got a partial list early on of a lot of the guests that we were supposed to have on the show today. Many of them have actually showed up, including Chris Novoselic, some of the legendary DJs that have been on KISW throughout the years. Gary Crow, Mike West. Hopefully we'll talk to Steve Slayton coming up. But we get this name, and we're like all the other names, we kind of know who these people are.
Sure.
And we get this name, and it says Andy Schoen.
No idea who this is.
I'm trying to think, how do we know Andy Schoen?
And what did it say? What was the little printout they gave you?
He was like a weekend DJ back in the day, right?
Yeah.
On KSW. And we thought, why?
I don't even think he was on air. I think he was like the board op.
Yeah.
Overnight. Okay.
But believe it or not, we've done a little research for this interview. Andy Schoen is really somebody. So if we could, Andy Schoen, thank you for joining us for our anniversary celebration.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I was just thinking the opposite, that you guys must be really desperate for guests if you're interviewing a former late-night weekend DJ.
To be fair, we are.
Andy,
I appreciate it.
Andy, when they sent us this thing, we have to be honest with you. I mean, just like anybody else, when you don't recognize the name right off the bat. Now, people in the industry and entertainment, they know exactly who you are. But the everyday person in Seattle,
right,
maybe not so much. So, same with us. We said, well, I wonder why we're interviewing someone who was only here for a short amount of time, but got their start here.
Right, but the board hopping overnight, and we're like, okay.
Yeah. And then we look at this resume of yours.
Like, holy crap.
It wasn't board hopping. I had my own show.
Oh, all right.
I wasn't board hopping. I got to talk like 3 times an hour.
Okay, well, that's not bad.
What kind of bands were you playing at the time? What years was it? Year was it that you were here?
Right after I graduated from high school in late 1982. I started right around the holiday between 82 and 83.
Okay. And at that point in time, when you got this job, KISW was the number one station in town. This is the rock station where you can get tickets, man. You're almost like, like Damone in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Like, you're the guy that can get people in the door. You know what I mean? You got tickets, you got pull. Was this one of those things where as a kid and being in that environment, I mean, you had to think to yourself, I'm going to do this. This is what I want to do for a living. Something like this.
Yeah, I'd already been doing it for a living for a couple of years. I lived kind of an Almost Famous, if you know the movie, that kind of childhood. Started on the radio in a commercial station at age 16, and I'd been the morning man on my local station in Reno, Nevada before coming up to Seattle. So I'd already kind of experienced, Grace Slick gave me my first beer backstage at a Jefferson Starship concert.
Wow.
I'd already kind of had all these experiences as a young kid. So, but I was a good kid, kind of a clean cut, preppy kid. I didn't have like the Jesus hair and the handlebar mustache of the late 70s and early 80s. I looked like a kid that would be on the tennis team from high school, but I was working at these powerful rock stations, which is kind of funny in retrospect.
There's a story about how Bo, who was the program director at the time, put you in charge of some tickets, I guess, for the police as they were playing the Tacoma Dome. And what exactly, did you mess this up, or what was the deal on that?
Yeah. Well, I didn't have a lot of money. I was working about 8 hours a week, and that was my only job up there. And so I didn't have any extra money. And I love the police. I think this was the Synchronicity tour, most likely, at the Tacoma Dome with the Thompson twins and somebody else, maybe Flock of Seagulls or something.
Sweet. That sounds like a great show.
So that was a good lineup, right? But the police, was, huge at the time. And so I mentioned to Bo that I would love to go to see the police show if there were any extra tickets. And he said I could have his tickets. And so my girlfriend and I went out to the Tacoma Dome. And back then, they didn't even ask for ID. You just had to know who to ask for, who to mention at the will call box. And so I went up there and I said, "Hi, Bo Phillips." And they handed me an envelope. And inside the envelope was 8 tickets and 8 backstage passes. And so I was like, oh my God, we have 6 extra tickets. And the show was far beyond sold out, right? And so I thought, well, I could really use the cash from that. Every single person was coming up to us asking if we had any extra tickets.
Ayola.
And they were general admission tickets. And so it wasn't like there was, they were assigned seating at that time. And a lot of shows back then were GA.
Sure.
And so I said, I would feel badly if we made a profit on these, but, what's the harm of selling them? We should give them away and say they're from KISW, but I could really use the cash. Why don't we sell them for face value? And I won't feel so badly about it. And so in about 30 seconds, we sell these 6 tickets and probably net about $150 or something. I mean, tickets are probably $20 then, So we get, I'm now rich at this point. I'm going to a rock concert with backstage passes with my girlfriend, and I'm rich. I've got $150 in my pocket. And then around the corner comes the rest of the KISW full-time air staff.
Oh, no.
And they said, "Hey, Andy, Bo said you've got our tickets."
Oh, no. Oh, God.
And I just about blacked out because I just had visions of maybe getting a job on an AM country station in Milwaukee. And so I quickly said, knowing that they were GA tickets, I said, there weren't any tickets in there, but there were these backstage passes. And they grabbed the passes, put them on their pants, and we walked in to the concert, and that was it. And so I dodged a bullet because it turns out in a general admission show, if you got the passes and the tickets, it's kind of redundant. So I really... My career almost ended in a split second over $150.
Damn, that is incredible. Andy Schoen, thank you for spending some time with us on our 50th birthday celebration. It's been an incredible pleasure to talk to you, and congratulations on all your success. I'm not sure what your next job will be, but I'm sure it'll be
can't hold one.
It'll be announced in 6 months. So
can't hold one down. Yeah. Here's what we do know. We know it'll be sooner than later that I'll have to be looking for another one.
Yeah, Andy Schoen, thank you. Andy's a great guy, man.
He's done well for himself.
He's done everything. He's the guy who put Beavis and Butthead on MTV, for crying out loud.
I feel like such a loser. Well, we've been here a long time and haven't done that.
We haven't done anything.
By the way, a very fine text came in just as we go down memory lane, right, with KISW. Mm-hmm. So this guy checks in. He says, "Hey, man, way back in high school in the 90s, I got a KISW keychain at a concert. Now, it looks like a normal plastic keychain, but it conceals a condom. Well, I ended up using that keychain condom when I lost my virginity. Still have the keychain, no kids, and clean junk.
And the condom.
Thanks, KISW.
I decided not to use the condom. It's still in there, too. She looked clean.
Well done. Glad we could help.
If you got a chance to watch the Super Bowl, Anheuser-Busch was running back some of their old ads, and one of them that they kind of featured, other than the "What's up, guys," were all kind of in one. They featured the guys who did Real Men of Genius. Now, this was a campaign that they did about all types of different people, but they would go around, and they visited Seattle at one point in time, and Pete Stacker, who is the main guy, he's the main voiceover guy, he was joined by his buddy Dave Bickler. Now, at the end of the Super Bowl, they actually did a Real Men of Genius for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
You should point out,
Real Men of Genius.
Dave Bickler was also the lead singer of the band Survivor.
Yeah, like Eye of the Tiger Survivor.
He's
right?
that dude.
Yeah. So we get these guys.
Eye of the Tiger Man.
In studio. We did not know that they had prepared this. They were just in town doing a little promo thing. But not only did they drop one Real Men of Genius on us, but they dropped two. So we could, Mike, let's roll the tape when we had in the one and only Pete Stacker and Dave Bickler of Survivor fame.
Oh, yeah. Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real Men of Genius.
Today we salute the men of the men's room on KISW.
The men of the men's room on KISW.
Steve the Thrill Hill, whose thrill is breaking a breeze and clearing the room. Thrilling.
Thanks for sharing.
Miles Montgomery, from arena football punter to radio redneck. A short distance of just under a 17-yard average.
He kicked himself out.
The Ted Smith, caught in a one-man nightmare, death spiral, fat and bald, thus getting zero loving.
Lip-syncing Justin alone.
So crack open an ice cold Bud Light and include Ben, because you never exclude a psycho with one eyebrow from anything.
Don't go in the men's room alone.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
There you go. That was awesome.
There you go.
Awesome.
We got one other one we'd like to do real quick.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is on Seattle.
Okay. Excellent.
Okay. This is on
So
Seattle.
you've already been here long enough.
Yes, we have.
Yes.
And we sent spies ahead.
All right.
Here we go.
You ready?
Mhm.
Okay.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real Men of Genius.
Today we salute the city of Seattle in the great Northwest.
The city of Seattle in the great Northwest.
Seattle Speak, UW, EMP, CDID, SODO, Sift, The Wall of Gum, and Gooey Duck.
Say what?
Only in Seattle can you sit at a coffee shop window and stare at the exact same coffee shop across the street.
Ice Grundy, 5-shot caramel, non-fat, easy ice latte.
There are now 3 condos for every citizen in downtown, along with 9 bikes and minus 2 parking spaces.
Look at all the ferries.
So crack open an ice cold Bud Light and toast something else we need. One more Thai restaurant in Fremont.
And one more bike around Green Lake.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
That's a big deal right there. The KISW 50th anniversary celebration.
I'm going to be honest with you, man. We got to talk to Rob Halford. We got to talk to Ozzy. We get to meet a lot of bands we like. We get to go backstage. We get to hang out with some cats I never thought I'd hang out with. One of the most exciting moments in my radio career was that.
I'm telling you right now.
I'm just like, I've done it.
Stacker's not lying. Since he did that spot, there have been 3 or 4 new Thai restaurants that have come in. It's like, why?
Unbelievable.
Why? Can we get a hamburger?
It's funny hearing the condo line, too. It's like, wait, if you saw it now.
They're fortune tellers.
KISW 50th anniversary celebration continues. Hashtag KISW50. You think that was a big deal? Ladies and gentlemen, we beam our satellites to Los Angeles, California. Dave Grohl, how are you, buddy?
Well,
Are you calling to wish us a happy anniversary?
wait, it's not your anniversary, is it? What is? Is it your 50th anniversry?
I can't believe you forgot.
How did you know? Where are the cards? Where are the flowers?
I started listening when I was 2 years old. How about that? Ever since I was 2, it's been my favorite station ever.
That is perfect.
You crawled on a mountain in Virginia and got the signal in.
Yeah, ham radio. I was doing the ham radio when I was like 2 years old.
Dave, how old were you when you moved out here?
Oh, God. It was 1990. I was 21, I think. 20 or 21.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was the perfect age. Listen, when I first got there, it's funny, actually, because I'm from outside of Washington, D.C., in Virginia. And when I started traveling and touring, I'd never been to California. I'd never been to Arizona. I'd never been to Amsterdam. I'd never been to any of these places. I was touring with this punk rock band. And over the years, like by 1990, I think I've been touring for about 3 years at that point. My mother, who was a school teacher, she was thinking of retiring. And she said, okay, on this next tour, if you go somewhere that you think I would love, call and tell me because I'm thinking about retiring and I want to leave Virginia. I was like, okay. And so the first time I came to Seattle, I called my mom and I said, Mom, you would love it here. This place is paradise. Everybody's cool. It's beautiful. There's great restaurants. There's great music. Like, this is the place. I mean, you would feel at home. This place. 6 months later, she's still in Virginia, and I'm living in Seattle.
Wow. Did she ever make it out here?
Well, of course. I mean, like when I moved out there, she would come visit all the time, and she agreed. She thought what a wonderful place. But I don't think she could do the weather, though. I don't think she would have I don't think she could survive the weather. In Virginia, we've got like a beautiful fall, a real hardcore winter where you get snow and it's beautiful. Then the spring, everything comes to life. And then the summer's like hot and humid. So you get the best of everything. But Seattle, I don't think she could do the winter.
Are you trying to depress us?
Oh, I don't have to depress you. You live in Seattle, so that's your vibe, not mine.
It's funny, man. We come from Baltimore, and the year that we got our gig at KISW, my parents both retired from their jobs, and I'd spent probably the last 30 years listening to them say, "When we retire, we're going to move to Seattle." So I had to let them know, "Hey, retirees, I just got a gig in Seattle," and honestly, they were pissed, right? But then I had grandkids, so now they live here, and yay. Kind of.
Well, listen, no, that's a good thing. I mean, as long as
that's what I tell myself.
But hold on a second. So you lost your Baltimore accent, but did your parents lose the accent?
All right. Thankfully, we moved around enough that hon, there's none of that. There's none of the Baltimore O's.
Because listen, exactly. Like, hold on, going down the ocean.
You're going to go down the
jumbos. Like, this is growing up outside of D.C. Like, you had if you went, 30 minutes south. People start talking like they're from, coming down from Richmond and stuff and then if you go a little bit north or out to the shore, it's like, gotta get some jumbos.
Oh, man. Hey, we're going to go to Ocean City. We're going to go to Secrets and party all weekend, Dave. It's going to be great. Bad Brains is playing.
And you know what's crazy is that, so my wife, she actually, her father's from Baltimore. So she grew up going to Rehoboth Beach. I was more of an Ocean City sort of person because that's cheaper.
Right.
And so, so once we started having kids, we would take them to Rehoboth Beach every summer. And now all of a sudden I'm going to Funland, but I'm putting my kids on
Funland's great.
Same rides.
Yeah.
They have the same rides.
It's cheap.
They haven't been upgraded, man.
It's still 50 cents.
I was like, these can't be safe. There's no way I'm putting my kid on that ride.
We're going to get some Thrasher's fries and ride the spinner.
I've been there.
Hold on, we're going to Grotto's.
This is great pizza. I don't know why. Hey, Dave.
Grotto shuttle.
Hey, congratulations on the nomination for the Foo Fighters to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's a big deal. I know you're already in there with bread, but still, it's cool for for you, I'm sure.
I like to call them beard, by the way. If you look at that cover, the best of bread, if you look at it really quickly, everyone's got beards on that. If you look at it quickly, it looks like it says the best of beard. It's one of my favorite album covers of all time.
Best of beard. It's not as bad as that Orleans cover. Hey, Dave, we've got some. They're all naked. We've got some audio we want to play for you. This is actually the first time.
It's our band, man.
Yeah, man. Just check it out, please.
Just tell us if you like it.
This is the first time that you ever appeared on the airwaves of KISW. So this goes back quite a ways, but this is kind of a cool announcement. I think you'll like this.
All right, Nirvana's joined us in the studio tonight, New Music Hour. We've got Chris Novoselic, we've got Kurt Cobain, and Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Uh-huh.
All right. Now, Dave, you're the newest member in the band. How did you get hooked up with these guys?
I was touring with a band that I was in called Scream, and our bass player quit while we were in Los Angeles, and I was talking to Buzz from the Melvins. Nirvana needed a drummer, so I called them up and flew up here.
Pretty simple then.
Yeah.
One thing led to another, and now here you are.
Yeah, he took a basket and crawled in it, put a bonnet on, and left himself on our doorstep. So we thought that was pretty neat.
No note or anything, just
What color bonnet did you have on?
Pink.
Okay. Pink with little baby duckies walking down in eggs.
So we used that as a reason to get welfare.
Yeah.
But now we got busted, so we're going to jail for welfare fraud.
Here it is, the first time you've heard this one. It's called Come As You Are, new Nirvana from the album Nevermind. FM 100 KISW, the new music hour.
Apparently, you thought you were on NPR.
I wonder if anyone was.
This was so nice of you to stop by our little 50th anniversary celebration, Dave.
Like, first of all, I don't think my balls had dropped yet or something, because when I listen to that, it's like, what was that? Now I sound like Lemmy. I'm just like, something happened, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
That was, man, oh man. Yeah. Very NPR-like.
Yeah. And we have Dave.
And they didn't know how to say your name.
Are you excited to get back out on the road? I know you're a busy man, but normally you're always doing something. Is it difficult through the pandemic for you to just, to relax and just realize you are a human being and a person and a husband?
I feel like we should just start doing the Shreddy Balls gear. I think we should start doing that bit right now. If I only had this thing going, we'd be good.
For a small $50 donation, you'll get the entire Nirvana and Foo Fighter catalog and this umbrella.
Hey, Dave, thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah, man.
Man, we love you. Hopefully we'll get to see you sometime in person, out on the road, and that would be great, man. So thanks again for calling the show.
I miss you guys. Happy anniversary. I hope you're well, and we'll see you down the ocean.
Down the ocean.
Down the
Right on,
ocean.
man.
We'll get some crabs.
Yeah, get some jumbos down the ocean.
And thank you, man.
Thanks, Dave.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.